Going home. In this DVD presentation, I will take you through my near-death experience that I had when I was 18 years old, giving birth to my son Timothy. At this point it was all planned to have a natural birth, and I needed an epidural, and they placed it in my spine in the wrong location, and I ended up fitting, and they ended up having to take Timothy by emergency cesarean. The last thing I remember hearing before I passed out was, "Oh fuck," from one of the doctors. And then I was in a coma for 4 weeks and on life support and in intensive care. During this time, I remember having visions of going to what we so call heaven. I don't like that word heaven, I'd say home. But in this DVD presentation, I will call it heaven. So I will guide you along with what I saw and what happened to me. I've also been able to go back there in my meditations with my guides and my angels and visit these places. So I'll only give you the short version. So please enjoy. It was a place I'll never forget in my whole life, and a place I'm longing to go back to. It is filled with the most unconditional love that you have ever experienced. There's no human words to describe the love there, or the energy that you feel. It's complete euphoria. One thing I have realized and deeply feel within my soul is that our angels come to us when we're about to pass over, and they take away our pain, and they start removing our light body and our soul and start moving us towards the tunnel of light. There's been many cases recorded in history, and people who work in retirement homes all have accounts of their people screaming out to their angels and talking about angels with them. If you go to any child cancer ward in a hospital, the children have paintings everywhere of angels around them. So when you pass over, there is no pain, there is no grief, there is no sadness. You feel light and happy, a little bit confused, but that soon fades. So when they pronounce you dead, as I was, you start to see a beautiful white tunnel of white light. And my angels were by my side, grabbing my hand and taking me into the tunnel. At fast super speed, we were travelling up this dark tunnel, and at the end, far, far at the end of the tunnel, you could see this glimmering white light. It was so bright to look at that I had to look away. I remember looking down at my body and realising it wasn't a physical body anymore, that it was a light body, it was see-through, that I had no pain. I felt young, I felt beautiful, I felt special. The angels holding me tight kept taking me up to this beautiful tunnel. The tunnel didn't feel warm or cold, it was just a normal temperature, but the energy was so fast and it was so relaxing. Some other people see the stairs instead of a tunnel, and people can go up the stairs. But everyone who's had a near-death experience talks about the beautiful white light. Other people see a beautiful pathway that leads to a garden. When you reach the end of the tunnel and you hit the brilliant white light, you're then shot through a portal that leads you to a beautiful garden A garden none that we have here. The mountains and the trees and the rivers and the flowers and the grass are all alive. They're all vibrating. There is also the Dream Temple, where spirits on the other side to go to actually have a sleep. They don't have to sleep over there if they don't want to, but if they choose to, they go to the Dream Temple and they choose a nice hammock or canoe or daybed or cushions on the floor, and they go and have a sleep and go and have some dreams. At this Temple of Dreams, you'll learn all about dream meanings, and the work that they do with you at night all happens within this Dream Temple. The Golden Temple. This is where Asna resides and where she lives. I wasn't allowed to go any further but the front entrance. I was told you have to have a special invitation to visit with Asna. But I could feel her presence in the temple. I could feel the feminine touches, and I could feel her love. All scattered around the City of Lights were different places of worship. I saw churches and mosques. I saw temples. I saw monasteries. I saw all different kinds of places of worship. They put these here so then we can be familiar with what we knew at home is then up there. We can worship anywhere we like up in heaven, but they put these here to familiarise yourself, to make you feel comfortable. If you want to pray in a place of worship, that they are there. The Angels Retreat. I was taken by my angels one day in a meditation to the Angels Retreat. This is where they go to for some time off and where they go to contemplate their next move with us. I was only allowed at the entrance and stood two magnificent angel statues filled with light. And then I saw a pathway heading up into the mountains that must have been where they reside and live. Again, surrounding all the temples and retreats are beautiful, magnificent gardens. They're all so alive and so pretty. They were mind-blowing. In another time in meditation, I was allowed to visit the kingdom of the fairies. Nestled in the snow-capped mountains, hidden away from the rest of the City of the Lights, and in a deep dark forest, you will enter the kingdom of the fairies. Here, they all play and have fun and rejoice, and they allow you in to visit their world. The Moon Temple. The Moon Temple is just like on a floating crater up in the sky. Very Greek looking building with beautiful waterfalls and gardens again. Inside the Moon Temple, you can study the moon in its cycles. You can just bask in the moon energy. Wizard's Wonderland is a place where they put on magic shows for people to come and experience magic and to learn about magic. This is where Merlin resides. The Pool of Reflections and Cleansings. As well as all the gardens, there's also magnificent waterfalls and pools scattered all around the City of Lights. Each one has its purpose, and each one is there for a certain reason. Some are for cleansing, some are for purifying, some are for being in the water elements, some are for the water elementals, some are to stare and to reflect, and some are the fountains of youth. There's beautiful quiet places to sit and just relax and reflect all over the City of Lights. What I noticed is many beautiful statues and little pergolas set out everywhere in the gardens for you to go and visit or perhaps have a picnic. All of them had beautiful orbs in the skies. I saw unicorns, I saw fairies, I saw dragons. All of these mystical creatures all reside in these gardens, and you're welcome to be there with them at any time you choose. In a certain part of one of the gardens, you will find the Tree of Wisdom. People go here to sit down and listen to its preachings, listen to its lessons, and to become more spiritually aware. This is a favourite place for the children of heaven to go to. They go here and sit all the rocks around the trees and listen to the magnificent story the Tree of Wisdom has to tell. Also scattered through heaven, what I would call the animal heaven. There were dogs and cats and birds and elephants and horses and frogs and snakes. There were all these different parts of the animals to go to and to be there waiting for us. I was allowed to look at my living quarters. My living quarters was a beautiful open pergola with beautiful purple curtains for my only protection, and it was surrounded by fields of lavender. It had ocean views where I could see the dolphins jumping up and whales breaching. So after my near-death experience and my visits through meditation to this place, I came to the total understanding that death isn't to be feared, it is something to look forward to and to embrace. That the place we go to on the other side is so beautiful, so filled with love, and not what we expect at all. There's still learning to do on the other side. You can work and do whatever you would like. You still progress your soul. You choose to be with whoever you want to be with, and you are rejoined with your soulmate. So next time you're at someone's funeral, remember where they're going to, and remember how lucky they are to be reunited with their spiritual family, their soulmates, and their real home. Of course, it's okay to grieve because we'll miss them in the physical body, but they are never far away. In spiritual love, I send out all of you here today. I hope this has given you a little bit of better understanding on the other side. With angel blessings, thank you.